I'm Caitlin Yaxtheimer, and today I'm going to present a reading strategy called I Have, Who Has. So this reading strategy comes from the PALS website, and if you go under word recognition, you'll find it. It starts with these cards. This is really the only material you really need. So these cards are available on the website, and they say I have, who has. And you fill these cards out and make a deck of cards for the students. So I've done it here. Here's an example of one that says, I have come, who has again. Now I've put a yellow sticker to mark that this is the first card in the group, that students should begin with this card, just to save hassle, I think, save any argument about who starts. So you pass these out, or have students sit in a circle and pass them out, and then they take turns saying, I have come, who has again. And then the student who had the card that said again would say, oh, I have again, who has day. And then the next student would have to come in that had day and say, I have day, who has away. And this continues until they get to the very last card, when they've gotten through all the vocabulary, and the last card says, wow, we can read a lot of words. Now, what I think is so neat about this strategy is that it can be adapted so easily for any sort of program you're working with. So, for example, I pulled up a nursery rhyme from the WIL website, and this is Rain, Rain, Go Away. And as we saw in many of those videos we watched this week, doing a weekly cycle where students work with a text first, so perhaps a nursery rhyme, and then they work with individual lines or sentences in the text on the next day is beneficial. And then on the third day, they work with the words from the text. So in this example, I've used words from the nursery rhyme in the activity. Now you could do this with any nursery rhyme, with any story. You could do this with sight word lists that you have, anything that the students have worked on and been exposed to, but need to have additional time developing word recognition and more comfort and familiarity with the words. So that concludes my presentation. Oh, I did want to add that one variation that I think would be very beneficial to have them continuing to reiterate the process would simply be to pass the cards to the right, so students exchange the cards and then go through the deck again. This just gives them more reinforcement. It also is an activity that could be done as a whole class, or it could be done in small groups. As a whole class, the students are still engaged each and every time because they have to constantly look at their cards and be considering, okay, what word did they say? Did they say away? You know, they have to be engaged in the process still. So I do like that this can be differentiated into small groups or the whole class, and you could also modify the words that are being given to the different groups. And the SOL that was listed on this was K5, that students will understand how print is organized and read. But I think it also has so much to do with the concept of word, which you could also ask students. It's not listed in the activity, but I think it absolutely makes sense to have students point to the words as they read this. So they'd say, I have go, who has away. And that extends this so that it's word recognition, it's also concept of a word. And I just think it's a really easy to implement and fun activity that the kids will learn a lot from. Thanks.